To God Be the Glory presents Now What? A sermon by Pastor Ronnie Brooks.
Good morning. Thank you for joining To God Be the Glory Ministries. We're a church believing in helping people help themselves. We're located on the corner of 45th and Silverton here in Salem. Our address is 4455 Silverton Road Northeast. Join us on Sunday morning. Our prayer service starts at 9 a.m. Then we move right into our Sunday school class, which begins at 9:30, where our Deacon Scott will bring a powerful Sunday school lesson. At 10:30, we move right into our regular service, led by Pastor Ronnie Joe Brooks. We look forward to seeing you on your next Sunday. Please join us. I'm certain you will be blessed. Thank you.
As we look at this morning, think about where you are in life. What's going on in your life? We admitted last week and last month that we are powerless. But we can't get stuck just admitting that we are powerless. We must be willing to go beyond our powerlessness. We must be willing to lift ourselves up and say to ourselves, I believe in a power far greater than myself, that can restore me back to my sanity. So as we prepare to start a new month, a new opportunity, a new beginning, we will say to ourselves, I believe. I believe. This morning, coming from Ezekiel, the 37th chapter, 1 through 3, it says, the hand of the Lord came upon me and brought me out in the spirit of the Lord and set me down in the midst of the valley, and it was full of dry bones. Then he caused me to pass about all around them, and behold, there were many open bones in the dry valley. And indeed, they were very dry. And he said to me, Son of man, can these bones live again? I want to talk to you this morning from now what? I've admitted I'm powerless. I've admitted that I don't have control over my ability to come out of my situation. I admit I'm in a mess. I admit that my life is in a terrible condition. Here I am, I've made the admission. Now, what? Now what? Now, have you ever been in a now what condition? I've made one step. Now what do I do? I've determined that I'm going to do better. But I'm kind of like Paul when I said that I wouldn't do. I find myself doing it over and over again. I don't think I'm the only one that's like Paul. I think that there are some people looking at me today, and you're in the midst of a now. What? You keep saying to yourself, I'm not going to do that anymore. But then I find myself in that same condition the next month. I said that my finances would be And that's my addiction now. What? I find myself sometimes, I said that I was not going to take and tell a lie anymore. I said that I'm not going to be a liar no more. But I got myself in a situation. And I know that if I tell the truth's going to get me in trouble. And I forgot that the scripture says, and the truth shall set you free. Here I am. I am in a pickle of a condition. What I want to do, I find myself not doing. And so I say to us today, now what? Now what? And so we've walked through all of this on last month of admitting that I am powerless. But now, we cannot allow ourselves to get stuck. The other day, when I was back in Texas, we had an ice storm. And when that ice storm came, I was trying to go up an incline. And I tried my best. I put that thing all the way to the floor. And all it would do was go this way and that way. But it never would go out. And I found myself, no matter what I did, I was stuck. Have you ever been stuck? Have you ever been in a situation that you are just stuck? You trying your best to get out. You said the Lord, I would do better, but I am stuck. And so here we find in John 5 and 6, it says, now a certain man was there who had an infirmity for 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there and knew that he had already been there in that condition for a long time, notice what Jesus said. And he said to him, do you want to be made well? Yes, now listen to this man. Jesus asked a parenthetical question, and listen to the man. He says, I have no one to put me in the pool when it is being stirred up. That's not what Jesus asked. Too many of us are giving excuses when God has asked the question, do you want to be made whole? I believe I'm talking to somebody this morning and you're in a particular condition and the Lord is saying to you, do you want to be made whole? And you keep on saying, it's not my fault. You keep on saying, it's not me, it's them, it's my mother. And you know my mother had me and she wasn't a good mother to me. And I come by here to tell some of you that are blaming folks for your mishaps in life. Get over it. That's right. Woo. I don't care what has happened to you in the past. Now it's up to you to make the difference. I know many of you have had some bad times. I know you've had some difficulties, but you know what God has said. Putting those things that are behind me, I'll look toward my goal that God has in front of me. Get over it. Yeah. Amen. Get over it. Jesus is saying to somebody, you've made excuses long enough. Yeah, that's right. Jesus is saying to somebody, you've been broke long enough. Yeah. Jesus is saying to somebody, you've been having that addiction long enough. So God is saying to somebody, you've been smoking long enough. God is saying to somebody, you've been messing around long enough. And I come by here to tell you, your life will never be what it could be until you get into the divine will of God. Amen. Y'all will get that on your way home. When you're not in God's will, what will happen is God will let you have what you keep on asking for. I never forget, I kept on asking my dad, I said, Daddy, let me have a switchblade. I said, I want a switchblade. You know, I grew up with folks that were much older than I, and they had switchblades. My daddy said, son, no, you don't need a switchblade. I said, Daddy, I've saved my money. Would you let me have a switchblade? Daddy said, no, you're not ready for a switchblade. I said, so I took my money. I went down to the Navy store. I paid $4.50 for a pearl handle switchblade. Had it. All I was doing was walking around saying, pop. Oh yeah. You talk some noise, me pop. You want some of this? Pop. I got something for you. Pop. You ain't gonna mess with me. I stick you, pop. And so what happened was, my daddy knew that I was clumsy. And so I had my switchblade in my pocket. And this guy was talking to me, and I didn't get my hand out of my pocket quite fast enough. And I popped it while I was in my pocket. It cut me on my leg. I had on some white blue jeans. My leg was bleeding. My blue jeans that my mama had gotten spotless clean had blood on it. I went home. I took those jeans off. I threw them in the washer. I thought it was over. I put it in the washer. I put it with the white clothes. Yeah. I thought mama was going to do is put some bleach in there and that's going to be it. But what mama did, she pulled my pants out to check my pockets, to see what might be left in my pockets. Yeah. And she pulled it up to see if it was any stains on there. Yeah. And she saw this big old blood stain. And she saw this cut in my breeches. And she said, Ronnie Joe, get in here, boy. I walked in the room and I said, Mama, what you need? I saw them breeches over there. I said, oh, God. I said, what you need? She said, how did this happen? I said, are those my pants? I said, Mama, are those mine? She said, you the only boy in the house. Yeah. Ain't your daddy's pants? I said, oh. She said, that's okay. Wait till your daddy get home. 9 o'clock that night, my daddy arrived. And he had an old raggedy GMC 1953 pickup truck. It was so raggedy you could hear it a mile away. And I heard that thing go pop, pop. When Daddy got home, I heard Mama meet him at the door and said, look what Ronnie Joe, go talk to your boy, look at these pants. My daddy walked in there and said, son, let me have the knife. He said, before you say what knife? He said, you think about that real good before you say what knife? He said, you really think about this thing? He said, because you are on the brink of getting a beating of the half of your life. He said, give me the knife. Yeah. My daddy took the knife from me and he said something that I'll never forget. He said, son, I would let you have the knife when I think you're ready for it. God is saying to somebody this morning, I'll give you the blessing when I think you're ready for it. Too many of you are getting blessings and you don't know how to handle it. Too many of you got the blessings of God and the first thing you do is you quit coming to church. God gives you a car and you whisper when you had to walk up here. You can't walk to church. But then when you got the car, you can't find enough time to come to church. Oh, I think I'm in Bible. There are some folks in here. You've been praying for a job. The first thing you do when you get the job, you don't pay your time. You pay the Lord and you're paying it after. And God says to somebody, you are not ready for the blessing. Yeah. And so here we are in a pickle of a condition. We are like Peter was. I'm too far in the middle that I can't turn around. And I'm so far from the shore, I can't go forward. And here Jesus comes walking on the water at the fourth watch of the night. It was between 3 and 6 o'clock. And Jesus come walking and they first said, it must be a ghost. Sometimes God comes to you in such a time you think it's not him and you think it's a ghost. But look what God said. Look what Jesus said to him. Be of good cheer. It is I. Be not afraid. And Peter says, if it be you, bid me to come where you are. And Peter got up on the water. And when he took a step, I believe Peter said, now, what? I'm out here. Now, what? I'm standing and I'm in a spot I've never been before. Now, what do I do? Here I am. I'm on top of water, and no other man has walked on water that I know of that's been born of a woman but me and Jesus. Now, what? I can't go over here and ask him. He's never been on the water before. I can't go over and ask her. She's never walked on the water before. I come by here to tell somebody, quit asking people who's not done it before. Too many of you are going to the wrong people and asking for advice. Don't ask the single person how to keep their marriage together. They've never been married before.
Quit asking people.
I come by here to tell you, Peter was now saying, now what? That now what condition?
Thank you. I'm Assistant Pastor Michael Weaver of To God Be the Glory Ministries. I wanted to just a moment to talk a little bit about some of the ministries we have here at To God Be the Glory. We are located on the corner of 45th and Silverton. Our direct address is 4455 Silverton Road Northeast. But let me just take a moment to talk to you about some of the ministries. Starting with our youth, we have our Boys to Men, where we focus on young men between the age of 8 to 12, where we are teaching them a foundation found in Jesus Christ, how to grow up to be productive men in this society. We also have a young women's ministry called Girl Power, again focusing on the same ages from 8 to 12. We invite you to bring your children, get them engaged in good Christian foundational teaching. We have for our young teenagers, we have a ministry called Swag. That's where we bring our young men and women together, focusing on, again, that foundation found only in Jesus Christ. We have activities planned. We have a ministry day on Sunday where this group of young people lead our service. We look forward to seeing your young folks here in service on Sunday with us. We also have one of our ministries is our couples ministry, where myself and my wife, our pastor, senior pastor, and first lady lead our couples ministry. We ask you to join in, where again, we focus on the foundation. This time, the foundation of marriage. What God has put in us, what God intended for couples to share as they grow in maturity in marriage. We have from the newest of newlyweds to our couples that have been married for 3 or 4 years to seniors in their marriage that have been married for up to 40 years. We invite you to join in. I'm certain you'll fit somewhere in this group, in this ministry. You know, To God Be the Glory has many ministries going on. If you're looking for something, if you're tired of just flipping on the TV and watching a service on Sunday, come, get plugged in. We want to receive you at To God Be the Glory. Remember, something good is always happening at To God Be the Glory Ministries. Thank you.
It's something that all of us will have to learn how to be. And so, now we find Ezekiel. He's in a now what condition? Can you imagine being in a valley where all it is the result of death? Dry bones everywhere. Dead stuff everywhere. And I come by here to tell you, sometimes God will put you in a position that appears to be hopeless. Notice what happened. Look at that first verse. And it says, and the Lord brought him to this valley of dry bones. The Lord brought him. You know what? God is trying to bring you to some place where it looks hopeless. And God says, when I get you to your place of hopelessness, I'm hoping that you will be able to understand I put you there. Have you ever been in a place where you know you can't get out of it because you don't have the power, and God says, I put you there? Y'all looking at me strange. Come here, Jesus. Have you ever been in a place that looks hopeless? Yeah, Jesus said, you know what? Y'all do remember after I got baptized by John the Baptist. You remember what happened was after he got baptized, the Bible said, and the Spirit of the Lord led him into the wilderness. Yeah. I come by here to tell you that when you have just come off of your mountaintop experience, that's when God will lead you to a place of hopelessness. Hopelessness. In a bad condition. You can't get yourself out of it. And notice how whenever you get in that condition, God is not looking for you to miraculously get yourself out. But God puts you there so you will humble yourself enough that you will see that you need a power greater than yourself. How many of you know right now that the condition you're in, if God don't move, it ain't gonna happen? I know this past week, this past month, it's been a tough month for me financially. And I said, Lord, you gotta help me. And Lord helped me through that. And he said, Ronnie, I want you to change something, because if not, you're going to be right back where you were last month. When I got sick with this bronchitis stuff, and all this stuff, all this gookers in my chest, and I'm wheezing and everything, I went to the store and got me some Cortacin. Here I am taking Cortacin, I'm taking Cortacin, I'm taking Cortacin. And I said, Lord, if I get 2 days of Cortacin in my body, then everything is going to be all right. But guess what happened? I took all that Cortacin and I'm still feeling bad. I'm still in a bad situation. And God said, Ronnie, you're in a bad situation because you're dependent upon the medicine rather than the one that made the medicine. Woo! You dependent upon a pill rather than the one who made the pill. And I come by here to tell you, God is saying to somebody, quit depending upon your stuff, because stuff won't get you out of your condition. Amen. Stuff. You gotta say stuff. Your jacket is to keep you warm, but if you lose the jacket, will you still praise God? Oh yeah. You got a car, don't you? You like driving in the car, but will you come to church if you don't have a car? Stuff. You got a good job, and your job helps sustain your family. But God said, is the praise because of the job, or is the praise because I got you the job? What will you do when you're in a condition that you can't get yourself out of? How do you handle it when it's nobody but just you and God? You know, I was reading about this 12-step program, and I was looking at some of the people who are on step 2. And one woman said, I've been an alcoholic for almost 30 years. And she said, I admit that I was hopeless, and I stopped. And she said, I became in a worse condition because I used the hopelessness as an excuse. I didn't realize my hopelessness was to push me into another step. I didn't realize that God made me hopeless in order that I might know that I need something greater than myself. Hallelujah. God is saying to you this morning, I made you hopeless because in the midst of your hopelessness, I'm getting ready to move you to a new level. When you become hopeless, God says, I'm getting ready to move you to a new level. Brother Tim, God says, I got you right where I want you because when you are ready, he says, I'm going to move you. I'm going to elevate you. And notice what happened. When they got to that point, notice what happened. The prodigal son. Y'all remember him? How many of y'all know the prodigal son? Y'all remember him? Yes. Y'all remember when it got to the hog pen? The Bible says, and they gave him nothing. He knew he was in a bad condition. Why? Because nobody would give them anything. I want to tell y'all something. When you are at your worst, folks don't give you as much as you do when you're at your best. That's right. Everybody want to ride with you when you got a car. But then get your car run out of gas. See how many people will push you when you don't have any gas. Everybody likes coming to your house, baby, when you got food on the table. They're all your friends. I like Michaela. I like Michaela. But then to get to the point where you got nothing to offer. I never forget when I was in college. I had a 1966 Chevy, jacked up in the back. Had about 2 big wheels on the back of it. And I used to ride through campus. It was a standard shift. When you got up off that gas, it go blah, 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 blah. All that thing was nice. I had my mag wheel. All that thing was nice. It was nice. But what happened was, it quit running. All my partners from Kentucky, all my partners from Dallas, I thought they were my friends. They had cars, but they'd always want to ride in my car. But when my car got broke, I asked them, would you take me to the store? Man, I ain't got no gas. I said, man, but look here, would you trail me up here so that I can get my car fixed? Oh man, no, I don't have time. We got football practice. And I found out something. People always like you when you got something to offer. Yeah. But the good thing about God, he loves you most when you got nothing to offer. Because he's not looking at what you can offer. He's looking at where your availability so he can get you to a place where you can offer something. Yes. I come by here to tell you, when they got to that point, notice Ezekiel got to that point and he's looking at all these dry bones. I believe Ezekiel looked at Psalms 121:1. He said, I will lift up my eyes unto the hills, for whence cometh my help. My next point is, whenever you have gotten to a place where it appears that it's hopeless. Next point, y'all ready for this? Then we're going to be ready to go to the Super Bowl. Y'all ready for this? Oh, yeah. Oh. Y'all ready? Your question will be a life change question. A turning point question. A turning point question. Look what it says. This turning point question. Look what it says. So I want y'all to pay attention. Amen. Because you know what? Sometimes we be looking at folks walking. We don't see them walk before. That's right. Listen, look at what it says. He says, Son of man, can these bones live again? Wait a minute. Jesus understood that those bones have been dead for a long time. Notice what it said, and the bones were dry. Hopeless. Now watch this. Can these bones live again? Now watch this. It's hard to make something come together when you got something over there. And you got a leg over there. You got a toe over there. And you're looking at all of this mess. And the Lord has them many days ago to ask the question, can these bones live again? Lord, don't you see this mess? And all God wants you to be able to see is that I just want you to know you need a higher power. That's all he wants you to do. Because you know what? If I was Ezekiel, if he'd asked me that question, guess what I'd try to do? Yeah, Lord, they can live. Hey, let me get this. Let me get this. Let me see if I... Woo! No, wait a minute. This is the toe. Wait a minute. Oh man, I got the head. The head and the toe can't go together. Let me put this back over here. Let me go back and put this over here. And God said, I never intended for you to put it back together again yourself. All I wanted to know is this, if you will be willing to say, Lord, thou knowest. That's all he wants you to say. Lord, thou knowest. And I come out here to tell you, God is saying to us this morning, who in the world is in a mess? And you are willing to say, Lord, thou knowest. That's all he wants you to say. That's all my point is today. Lord, thou knowest.
Yes.
My life been messed up a long time. And Lord, you ask me, can my life get better? Lord, thou knowest. Oh, I've been whipped a long time. I've been up and I've been down. And here I am. You asking me a question, Lord? Lord, thou knowest.
Yes.
Now notice what that says. He says, Lord. The word Lord means what? Authority.
Yes.
But notice what it says. God, all powerful, all knowing, all sustaining, all providing. He says, Lord, authority, and Lord, all powerful, all knowing. You know all about it.
Yes.
And if you know about it, then everything's going to be all right. And so to somebody who's made that first step and said, I admit that I'm powerless, God says, now are you willing to admit that there is something greater than you that can restore you back to your original state? I know you're powerless, but are you willing to start looking up rather than looking around? God says, it's your time to take another step. I used to smoke reefer. Did it a long time. Smoked it a long time. Used to smoke cigarettes. Did it for over 15 years. Got to the point where when I get up in the mornings, I couldn't catch my breath. Because I've been smoking for such a long time. But in 1984, I was sitting at Mount Moriah Temple Baptist Church. A man by the name of Pastor Martin was preaching, and he preached from the 23rd number of Psalms. And while I was sitting there, God says, I'm going to call you twice, Ronnie. I said, what do you mean? He said, people think you saved and you ain't saved. I'm going to call you to get saved first. He said, in my second calling, I'm calling you to preach at the same time. And when I got up to go to the front of the church, people were looking around saying, I thought he was saved. You could hear it going all through the church. He'd been doing all the prayers. I thought he was saved. I thought he was saved. And they said, whoa, I thought he was saved. And when I sat down and I stood up and I said, you know what? God has called me twice. And the preacher looked at me and said, God can't call you but once. I said, no, God can call me twice. He said, what do you mean? I said, he called me to get saved. He said, you're not saved? We've been inviting you to deacon's meeting. I said, I ain't saved. And I said, the next thing he called me to preach. He said, you could hear the people laughing. Because I lived such a bad life. I've done such bad things. Folks were laughing at me. Oh, they laughed. Oh, they said, he'll never last over a month. Wow. Said, we know him. Said, he loved reefer too well. He'll never last over a month. He loved to drink too well. He'll never last over a month. He loved to run women too. He'll never last over a month. But here I am, 36 years later. Oh, and I'm still preaching the word of God. They said that I wouldn't stay in this thing, but I'm still running the race. Yeah, I'm 62 years old, and I'm not as to be. But praise be unto God, I'm in better shape now than I was some 36 years ago. Now that when I run for Lord, I don't run in full blast like I used to. But the Bible says the race is not given to the strong, nor to the ones that can run the fastest, but those that are willing to endure. All I come out here to tell you, I might not be able to run it as fast as somebody else, but I can stick in the race. I might not get there as fast as you get there, but one thing about it, this old turtle is on his way. I come by here to let you know that I'm going to stick in the race. Is somebody willing?
Yes, glory Jesus.
To say I need a higher power.
Yes, Lord.
If I don't get this higher power, I'm going to stay right where I am. Who's willing for a higher power? Who's willing to make that step and say, God, if you don't do it, I can't get out of this thing.
Yes.
And God is saying to you right now, it's your season. It's your time. It's your part. It's on you now.
Yeah.
Are you willing to make that step? If you're willing to say, I believe. I believe.
Yes.
I don't know what you believe in him for, but I believe I can quit lying. I believe I can quit smoking. I believe I can be a better husband, a better father. I believe that I can be a better son, a better daughter. I believe.
Yes.
If you're willing to believe this morning, I want you to get up on your feet. If you're ready to believe, if you're saying you can believe, I want you to get up on your feet. I don't care what it is. God says you can overcome it. If you realize there's a higher power much greater than you that's going to help you do it. That higher power.
Do you believe that you are an overcomer? If so, stop by. To God be the glory. We're located at 4455 Silverton Road Northeast in Salem in the North Chapel. You can also check out our website at www.togodbetheglory.org or stop by our Facebook page for a daily scripture. You can also check out our YouTube channel for previous sermons. We just want to take out a moment and say thank you for worshiping with us today. Be sure and come back on next week to hear a sermon from Pastor Brooks about words. Remember, our February theme is Believe that a power greater than ourselves can restore us to sanity. May God bless you richly. This week is our prayer for you, and we look forward to seeing you at To God Be the Glory next Sunday. God bless.